The weekend is a tangible sign of a cultural shift in the arts sector for many reasons. This is a man who is from an immigrant family, from East Africa. He is now one of the biggest stars in the world. He just performed on the Academy Awards. He had what many have called the song of 2015, but I Can't Feel My Face. And he came out not of the existing infrastructure to develop talent in Canada, musical talent, but out of grassroots, independent, organic organizations that have nothing to do with the typical conduits that get talent to that kind of success. So, you know, small clubs, people organizing their own events, you know, kids making beats in their bedrooms and basements in the far outer reaches of the suburbs of Toronto. That produced the weekend, and that I think is a very positive sign for the health of the cultural shift. We're moving now more than ever. I don't know if this is actually the greatest migration ever, but given the numbers and the planet's population now, it almost has to be. More people are leaving their countries of origin and going to new places than ever before. And they're doing it at great cost, sometimes at the cost of their own lives. And they're doing it for reasons that are both having to do with what they need to leave behind, flee in some cases, war, privation, you know, lack of resources, water, that kind of thing. But also because they just want better lives. They want in. And because the world is so connected digitally now and we can see each other's lives so quickly and so easily, I think it's no surprise that people want to move to where they see life looking anyhow like it's a great life. So because there is so much migration, because our lives are so intertwined now, I think issues of inclusion are as important as they've ever been, if not more important. You know, the first thing I guess I want people to know is that I'm a Torontonian. I have been asked, about to step onto a plane at Heathrow Airport in London, a kind of a Canadian quiz to make sure that I was actually Canadian. You know, do I know the name of the longest street in Canada? What is a loonie? Like actual trivia to make sure that I matched my passport. So I think, you know, the more the world knows that this is a city of incredible diversity, that, you know, half the people living here were not born in Canada, that, you know, there are hundreds of languages and ethnic groups represented, I think the better off we'll all be. Let's start there. But I think also that Toronto can be a model for a lot of other places in the world. Many big cities, most big cities in the world are struggling with issues of inclusion, and that can sometimes lead to violence and you know, hatred and division and hardening of minds. And I think Toronto, at its best, offers an example. And of course, we have a lot to do here as well, a lot of work to do. But I think at our best, we actually can show the world how to live together. I think what we need to improve in Toronto are maybe two things. I would say economic equality and economic mobility, and those things are obviously connected. We know from looking at economic maps of the city that wealth is concentrated in certain areas, mostly downtown and along the Yonge Street corridor, and then poverty is concentrated in the outer suburbs, both east and west of the city. That doesn't have to be that way, and that certainly I think needs to change. I think if those things become hardened, the sense of, you know, borders, almost you know, postal code borders around wealth and opportunity, then that becomes a huge, huge problem for Toronto.